today's video, I am going to discuss how to input data in Excel for data entry positions. Your main task in these roles is to enter, update, or manage different types of information within computer systems or databases. It could be in Excel or Google Sheets. When using MS Excel, you simply enter your text into the cell and hit Tab or Enter to move to the next cell. I do want to clear that this is not a beginner's tutorial. If you are new to Excel, I recommend checking out my playlist designed for beginner first and then watch this video. Back to the topic. Here you need to write employee name in this cell. Here you can write department, hire date, employee ID. Okay, now format this a bit. Make the font white and fill blue. In the below cell, here we will start typing employee names. Let's say Diane Ellie. Finance. Hire date is 1 3 2022 and employee ID is 3969. This is how you enter data in Excel. And like this, you need to write all the employee information in these cells. Let's say that your company has decided that they want to have an employee sheet and this is just the beginning of setting up that employee list. Now imagine how time consuming and painful it would be to enter all of this data for, let's say, 200 employees. Yes, you can do it the way I just showed you. You can just click on the appropriate cell, you can type, press tab, and then you can put your data. Doing it this way can lead to more mistakes. But I'll show you an easier way to create data entry forms in Excel, and these forms make it so much easier to enter records or data into Excel. So let's look at how to set up an easy data entry form in Excel. Data entry form make it super easy to enter data in your spreadsheets and there are fewer chances of making mistakes. First step you have to take is to go up here to the quick access bar. This is a handy bar where you can add additional tools and features that you want to be able to access easily and quickly. That's why it's called the quick access toolbar. I'm just gonna click here on this button. This is the customize quick access toolbar button. When you click that, it gives you a list of some of the items that you can add to the quick access toolbar or take off the quick access toolbar. And if you look toward the bottom of this pop-up menu, there's an option for more commands and I am gonna click that. It takes me to a list of popular Excel commands, but in this case, what we are looking for is not necessarily popular. So I am gonna go down to either all commands or commands not in the ribbon. I will just pick commands not in the ribbon and I am looking for form. That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm trying to create a quick easy data entry form. I'm gonna browse down, look for form. There it is. I click on it and if you notice here on the right side, there are some items already in this list. Compare those to what's up above here on my quick access toolbar. It's the same things. The same features are listed here. Having selected form, I just click add. It's now added to this list and when I click on OK, it will now be added to my quick access toolbar. So there it is. Now that I have that button readily accessible to me, I will be able to easily create a data entry form for my Excel spreadsheet. Alright, the next thing we need to do is take this data that I have here in my spreadsheet and turn it into a table. For some reason, that's essential for using these quick forms. So how to turn this data into a table? All I have to do is click somewhere inside the data. How about here? And then here in the home tab, home ribbon in the style group, there's a button that says format as a table. Now there's a faster way to do it. Once you have clicked anywhere in the data, you can just hold the control key and press T for table and that will bring up this pop-up. And here Excel has tried to guess what my data consists of and in 99% of the cases it does it correctly. You will notice that there are these little ants moving around my data and in most cases it gets it perfectly correct. If not, you may need to change some of the number here and there and you may need to click this and then outline what you want to be include or you might need to check or uncheck that my table has header. But in this case my table does have headers so I will leave this checked and click OK. Let's see if it works. It looked like it did. I can tell that Excel has identified these items here as header. So I think that worked just fine. And now let's move on to the next step. At this point, I just want to have clicked somewhere in the table. So I will make sure that I have done that. I click and now I go up here to the quick access toolbar and click the form button. Now notice what it did. It has identified these records or rows in the table. It doesn't count the header row. It just skip it. But you will notice that record number 1 is Ryan Ellie here at the left. But all of the data and information related to Ryan Ellie is listed vertically in this case instead of horizontally. Now, there are a couple of reasons why this is helpful. One of them is, let's say you have a spreadsheet with like 14 or 15 columns. You wouldn't want to have to click this bar and drag to the right and type in the data, or to tab over up to 14 times in order to enter in your data. That would be so much time consuming. It's kind of hectic to do it that way. So that's why you might want to do what I'm showing here by creating an easy data entry form. Now, if I click find next, look what it does. It goes to the next row and it's numbering those rows here at the top right. So I can click through those. Now, let's say it's time to resume entering data for the employees of this company. I can click new. Notice it say new record. I just click and next to name I will type the next employee's name. Robert Bliss. If I tap the tab, it does move to the next data entry cell, department, and hiring date. I can add the department. Let's say Robert is in the marketing field and hiring date is, now you can just type that in the way you typically would, maybe with the day, then the month, and the year. And the employee ID is 4969. Now let's press enter on the keyboard. It insert the record into my spreadsheet and give me a new blank form. If I close and you can see that there's Robert Bliss department and hiring date and employee ID. Okay, jumping back into. The form is super easy. I just go up here on the quick access toolbar form and I am right back in there. I want to enter a new employee and I simply resume. So if you do a lot of data entry work, you are gonna find yourself really preferring these easy data entry forms that you can create and use in Excel. And it's really easy to do. While we are here in this form tool, I want to point out some of other features and buttons that we have. So we have looked already at new. Notice that there's also delete. So let's say I have entered this data and this is a mistake obviously. I don't know how I made that one, but I can just click delete and the displayed record will be deleted. That's exactly what I want. So I click OK and it's gone. We also have a find previous button. So that goes from the current record to the previous. You can also find next. That advances to higher numbers. And then we have a criteria button and a restore button. Let's look at the restore button first. For that, I have entered this data. So let's say I have this much data and we have a person named Jamescom. And let's say that the company is considering changing his department from customer service to sales. So I can just type that in and by pressing enter it will be changed. But what if I realize that that was a mistake? I can just click restore and it goes right back to the way it was before I started changing the data in this form. So as long as you don't click close or tap enter on the keyboard, everything that you type here is easy to undo just by clicking the restore button. Okay, so now there's one button left to look at besides close, and that is criteria. The way criteria work is you click it and then you enter criteria into this form, and then Excel will see if it can find one or more of the record here in this spreadsheet that matched the criteria. So for example, I would really like to find someone who has a name that include the word Paul and the hire date doesn't really matter. The employee ID doesn't really matter, but the department should be communications. Alright, so I have Paul and communications. At this point, all I have to do is tap enter on the keyboard and look. I found Paul in communications. So I hope that you see how useful an Excel data entry form can be. You can take your data entry task that might be too horizontal and it can make it vertical. And notice that you can scroll, so it could be 10, 15, 20 different bits of data that you are entering in, and it makes them vertical, not horizontal. And it gives you these tools at the right to also help you to search within the table that you have created. Alright, that was it for today's video. This is how you enter data into Excel. If you found this video to be useful, hit like and subscribe to our channel for more on Excel.